Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inner Power Podcast. This show has one mission and one mission alone to help you live an incredible life that you're truly proud of. And I finally feel like I am in such a beautiful place to speak on this. I'm holding back tears, even though I don't believe in holding back tears. You feel your feelings to the max. So some tears might pour out, but I already feel my eyes getting watery. These past few months have been so transformative, and I really feel like I am just living the life of my dreams. I was in a rut for so many years, and I felt like I was in this hamster wheel where I just couldn't get out and I couldn't get out. And I tried and I tried and I tried. And over the past 4 months, my life has completely changed for the better. I mean, in the past 4 months, I hit my first 5 figure month. I made over $12,000 in 1 month through my freelancing business. So, working for myself completely remotely. I became a digital nomad and traveled to Peru, Colombia, Puerto Rico, New York City, and now I am currently in Guatemala. All of that in just the past few months. I fulfilled a huge bucket list dream of hiking the Inca Trail, which is a 4 day trek across the Andes Mountains that a lot of people who start it, unfortunately, don't finish it. And just newsflash, I was almost one of those people who didn't finish it, but that's a story for another episode. I also built friendships that I literally dreamed of, which again is contents for another episode on how to do that if you're struggling with real, magnetic, authentic friendships and relationships in your life. I can absolutely speak on this in a separate episode because it merits all of my attention for that one subject. But I will say that 1 year ago, I was feeling so lonely because I am an extroverted Leo and I had so many friendships that were completely toxic, completely misaligned. And a lot of these people, unfortunately, I had to let go of. And I was feeling so lonely, but also disappointed because I didn't want to make the same mistakes over again. And so I chose to proactively build new relationships in new different ways. And these relationships are friends that I can honestly say are going to be with me for the rest of my life. I feel so magnetic and aligned with all of the people in my life. I've learned to set really healthy and firm boundaries, which is something that I absolutely struggled with for years. And it's something that I'm still very much working on. I also gained a ton of clarity over the past few months, which is something that I was really struggling with for so many years of my life. In human design, I'm a specific type of manifester. So it's very important for me to know what I want. Otherwise, I will literally be going in circles. I will not manifest anything in my life if I don't have complete certainty that this is what I want. And so, having clarity on what the do I want in my life, that was a really big struggle that I had to overcome. And over the past few months, I can honestly say that I have crystal clear clarity on the things that I'm calling in, the types of relationships, the type of adventures, the type of life that I want to live. And so all of that happened in the past 4 months. But what exactly changed? Well, what changed, my friends, is a simple concept, and I can sum it up in one word. And that word is portals. Opening portals, and more importantly, closing them. I first learned about the concept of portals in the self growth program that I'm a part of. I'll leave all that information linked below so that you guys can check it out. But essentially, a portal is a pathway for something new to enter your life. For example, if you're manifesting an income portal, right? Whenever you start a side hustle or you start investing in the stock market, these are all new pathways or portals in which money can come into your life. You can do this with relationships, with career, with essentially everything in your life has a pathway to come into your life and a pathway to exit your life. And closing portal means removing. It means consciously shutting down and removing the people, the patterns, the beliefs, the projects, the material things that no longer serve you. Alex Hermosi recently said in one of his videos, rather than what are you willing to do, ask yourself, what are you willing to give up? I love that he said that because he's one of the few like online entrepreneurial gurus that just keeps it so real with everybody. It's about elimination, not addition. So, what are those behaviors, thought patterns, people, expenses, and posturing that you're going to get rid of in your life? For my entire life, I always focused on the goals that I wanted to achieve and the things that I had to do in order to achieve those goals. What really changed these past few months is that in addition to that, I also started thinking about the things that I had to stop doing. So, for just a moment, I want you to imagine a bowl of water, right? You have this big bowl of water and you're pouring in more water and more water. The only problem is that there's a hole in the bottom of this bowl. And it doesn't matter how much water you pour into it, the water is just leaking out and you're never really able to fill it up. And that is exactly what was happening in my life, especially when it came to money. I was trying to find new ways to make money, and I was on this hustle bus and I was just doing, and I was attracting more money, but I had this leakage. I had energetic leakages in so many areas of my life where the things that I was calling into my life were just slipping away. And that kept me in a rut for years and years and years. And I am exhausted, my friends. I am so tired of this toxic hustle lifestyle. It's just not for me. I love putting in intentional work, but I don't want to be on the hamster wheel anymore. And so by closing portals and sealing up those energetic leakages in your life, you are able to get out of the hamster wheel finally. In my case, when it comes to money, I was always booking new clients as a freelancer or doing this thing or doing that thing and doing coaching and all the things, right? But I wasn't really looking at how was I spending the money that I already had. The universe granted me authority over this money that I had in my hands. And it was slipping away in so many different things. For example, credit card interest, subscriptions that I forgot that I was subscribed to and were just like kind of on auto pay. I had really expensive bills that didn't have to be that expensive. I was spending more than I was making, to be honest. I think I was just overspending in order to kind of escape and numb certain things that I was just not happy with in my life. There were so many factors that were holes in my bowl. They were energetic leakages that were just, the money was just slipping away. And that happened. This is just one example. Like money is just one example. That happened in so many areas of my life. And so I want you to ask yourself, what are the energetic leakages in your life when it comes to the things that you're trying to call in and intentionally manifest? One major way that I was able to close old portals was through boundaries. And again, I did a lot of boundary work in the program that I mentioned earlier. So all of that info will be linked down below. I always thought boundaries were constricting, but boundaries, my friend, are the gateway to freedom. I'll give you an example. I recently had a potential client who I really felt was taking advantage of me. So this person had not paid me yet. We had worked together in the past, but this was a new relationship, new business. And I did everything in my power to submit a proposal. We had various consultations, everything that I had to do in order for them to feel supported, to know exactly what the exchange was going to be, the scope of work, all of those things. And I made the mistake of overextending myself. I definitely went above and beyond and did way more than I should have because if I'm being completely honest, in that moment, I was desperate. I felt like I really needed the money. And that desperation just kept me in this low vibrational energy where I was overextending, overdoing, and not setting healthy boundaries. Once I submitted the invoice, they kept asking for more of my time and more things that really were just not necessary for this deal to close. At this point, it was just a matter of yes or no. Do you want to work with me or not? And I just said, hey, enough is enough. I told myself I am willing to walk away from this deal. And I'm not going to give you the exact number, but let's just say it was close to $20,000. Okay. And I literally said to myself, you know what? I am worth more than this. My honor, my self respect, the love that I have for myself, and the trust that I have in myself is worth more than this dynamic that's happening. This is really setting the stage for just a really toxic environment for this project that we're going to be working on. And I don't want this to be the energy that I'm calling into my life. I no longer work out of desperation. And yes, I do feel like I need the money if I'm being completely honest with myself. I'm not going to bullshit my way into telling myself that this isn't important, but I have enough faith in myself, in my capacity, and enough self honor to know that I will be able to make the money some other way, point blank. And I told the client, we won't be moving forward until the invoice is paid. The invoice is in your inbox. It's been in your inbox for over a week. Do your thing. I really thought this client was just gonna ignore me and just walk away because I energetically was ready to walk away. I honestly was like, okay, once I send this text, it's over. Like they're not gonna want to work with me because this is a very firm text. It was very professional the way that I worded it, but it was like in your face, no bullshit, you know, we're not moving forward until you pay up. And so I walked away. I went on a hike and I just decompressed and I was like, okay, whatever, I'll figure it out. A few days later, I get a text from this person saying, hey, the invoice was paid on Friday. So when are you ready to get started? I I remember I was cackling. I was literally laughing so hard when I saw that message because part of me, like, it wasn't expecting it, but I also wasn't surprised that when I set such an important boundary, because for me, that was a big deal. For this person, probably not, because they deal with people all the time in the type of business that they run, right? For me, this was a really big deal, like, saying no and being so firm with a client, it's actually something I had struggled with a lot as a freelancer. And even before I ran my own business and before I did freelancing, like, even working in companies, I had issues with authority, because I don't know why, to be honest. I don't know why. The list is pretty long as to, like, why I felt these things, but I had a hard time setting boundaries with people I worked with. I always, always, always did more than was required, and sometimes that's an honorable thing, but the way that I was doing it was not honorable. It was hella toxic. I was overextending myself. I was working, back when I was an employee, I was working well over the 40 hours a week just because I wanted to get things done right. And part of it is perfectionism. Part of it is the need for approval and validation. And it ties into like this fear of abandonment and rejection and all the things, right? All the things, whatever. The point is, something I really struggled with for a very long time is like doing the most, even when it's crossing the threshold of not being healthy anymore. So this boundary was a really big deal for me, and the universe completely rewarded me for it. I was super happy, and apart from that, I booked a few other clients that were so totally aligned. Like, these clients were people that just lit my soul on fire. I was excited doing the work for them. Oh my god. It was just an exciting couple of months. It felt like, wow, this is really happening. And then after that, I decided to go to Peru. I really didn't have the means to go to Peru. There were so many things and so many reasons to not go, but the universe had been telling me for a very long time to go. And that is, again, another story time that I'd be happy to share with you guys if you want to hear that story. But yeah, like one thing led to another, and I ended up, living this lifestyle that I really always dreamed of, like the digital nomad lifestyle, the traveling and working and seeing the world, especially Latin America. I really wanted this experience specifically in this moment of my life to be through Latin America because I'm from Puerto Rico, and I hadn't been to South America. So it was very important for me to experience all of this, all the things that have unfolded in my life. It hasn't all been pretty. There's been a lot of tests that have come through because whenever you establish a new level of self worth, the universe is going to test you to see if you are for real. And those tests can be little petty tests, but they can also be really life challengingly difficult tests. And it's up to you to pass them, my friend. So, back to portals. I want you to do this exercise. I want you to take a piece of paper, fold it in half. On the left side, write down 2 to 3 big goals that you have for this year. Write down why each goal is important to you and how you're going to feel in present tense once you have achieved each one of these goals. I also want you to write down how it will change your life and the life of the people that you love once it's achieved, and all of this in present tense. Now, on the right side of the paper, write down everything that is getting in the way of you achieving that goal. And I need you to be brutally honest with yourself. No one has to read this. This is for you. You have to be so blunt because that's the only way that this is going to work. What habits, behaviors, old ways of thinking, friendships, toxic partners, or even family members, even toxic clients? What are the things that are getting in your way that are causing these energetic leakages in your life? What holes are you going to patch up in your bowl of abundance? Write all of these down because these are the portals that you must close in order for your dreams to come true. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And remember, setting firm boundaries isn't limiting you, it's granting you a pathway to absolute freedom. You must release to receive. Ah, my dear friends, I do hope that this has served you. It certainly has served me. It is a continual practice in my life of opening portals and closing portals. The whole portal concept, keep it with you because it really matters. So if this has served you in any way, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I would love, love, love to continue hanging out with you and share this with a person that you care about. Here is to our rising. And once again, remember, release to receive, baby. You got this. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.